18. They're removing, the bulk of the trees seem to be on lot 18. And if our responsibility is to protect the shade trees in the township, and also because of the value that they have for helping to address some of the stormwater runoff issues. And since they can't, they're not meeting the replacement, they're short by, I don't know, what is it? A lot of trees. And so is there a way that we can, and I guess I'm just asking because we're still trying to figure out what bounds we have here. Given the fact that our responsibility is to help review these plans and make recommendations, it seems like there's opportunity to move to move that retention area that they're looking at, putting it there on 18. Is there an opportunity to move it to a different location to avoid taking down those rather large trees? That would help to ameliorate the deficit that they have for tree replacement. And it would also help to protect the headwaters to Crum Creek and minimize some of that stormwater runoff impact that's going to occur. So I do think, at least from our perspective, that since they can't meet that the replacement code, then or the ratio, then would it be out of step to recommend that they avoid removing trees then?
If you like, certainly I'm not the township engineer or the design engineer, but I do believe I've said in a few of the land development hearings to know that was strategically placed, that basin, to identify and handle some of the existing stormwater concerns of the property owners that that border the project. There's a lot of swales and movement to keep the water off of their property that is currently flowing there naturally today. So they diverted that water and piped it to those basin areas. I don't know, I mean, obviously this may be something you want to, we need the township engineer's opinion, or I'm sorry, the township solicitor's opinion on, but I don't believe that the ordinance was put in place to prevent somebody from legally using a lot or subdividing their property for the purpose of a use that's approved. So if they meet the lot area and bulk requirements for a lot that's legally defined by our zoning code, I don't know if the intention was to prevent them from using it for that single family home. Now, there's other methods that they can use to add in the trees, and I believe that Mr. Hochbach's letter kind of explains that they can actually put, pay a fee in lieu of those trees, and the township can, or we can place them wherever it's more conducive. Most of the property in and of itself that's being proposed for the development is currently devoid of trees. The open space is really where towards, I guess that would be the southwest of the property. That's where the property is wooded, and they're only removing the trees that would allow them to get through with easements that they need to run the utilities and provide the stormwater basin on that part of the project. So I believe that there's 3 basins on that site. One would be along White Horse, lot 18. One would be along the western border with the properties along Echo Valley, and one would be above the properties, I should say, on Hunt Valley. And then the last one would be above the properties on Echo Valley. So, that's all I have to offer. I mean, I don't think it was the intention of the ordinance to prevent somebody from using.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying that there's opportunities to, I didn't say take out not develop the lot at all. It just seemed like where they were proposing some of these utilities were in an area where it was heavily wooded and with big, mature, nice trees that, and I mean, it distinctly says in the ordinance that the tree canopy is a key component to minimize the damaging effects of stormwater runoff in the township. And it specifically calls out Crum Creek. And that's part of the statement of findings in section 158-2 of our ordinance. So that's what we're charged with. So if we, from my perspective, we can make recommendations to make adjustments to a site plan to help protect these resources that this ordinance is intended to.
I think you would need testimony from the engineer, the design
Mhm.
engineer. I don't think that I can share that,
Sure,
to the fullest extent that's necessary.
right.
And I don't want to I certainly don't want to present you with something that may be construed as
Sure.
my approval of
Yeah, no,
their methods. So I would have to defer to them.
right. Okay. So I don't know, I'm just saying.
Is there,
for
do
me,
you know
go
if there's a
ahead.
time constraint on this? Does it have to go to planning
It's
or?
on tonight.
There's always time constraints on a land development project. Technically, it's 90 days from the date they first appear before the planning commission. And that's for a full review and ultimate approval by the board of supervisors. So they have a 90-day time clock that starts to tick once they appear before the planning commission at their first meeting. So with Stoney Knoll, with this particular project, they've had 2 prior approvals with similar infrastructure. This project now involves an increase of 5 dwelling units. Previously, 13 lots had been approved and 27 lots had been approved at different timeframes. Both of those plans are still viable because they haven't exceeded the 5-year timeframe. A project is protected
Right, I
once
understand that.
once a preliminary plan is approved. So the 2 prior plans are still viable. This plan just increases by 5 single-family dwelling units what had previously been approved at 13.
Right, like I'm not saying, like, not to deny this part of the plan or whatever like that, but just to get clarity of what they're gonna do with these trees before we like go to, like take an action saying, yeah, we agree that they're taking down more trees and all that other stuff, but they don't show what they're doing provision of taking those extra trees down. So,
Right.
Not to deny it, but to just put it forward that, they have to have a better site plan saying to clarify what they're gonna do with those trees before we can give a go ahead to it.
I agree. And I think Mr. Hoshbach's letter
Yeah, right, obviously.
suggests that.
Yeah, but he's not, that's why I'm saying.
No, I know. Yeah, I certainly don't want to speak for him either.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, do I think there's options? Certainly.
I just don't want it to go to planning tonight that we didn't take action and then all of a sudden
Right.
there's no action. Like we have to take an action because of tonight. I don't.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know what the time constraint is,
Well, planning is next Thursday, correct?
Tonight.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're right.
Tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It
You
goes
can
right to
tell,
them
you
now,
can tell
so-
how,
So if we just say our opinion is they need a better site plan for those lots.
Right.
Because there's no clarity of what they're gonna do with those trees. That way we're taking action on it, but not denying anything. We're just taking action, putting it forward that that's what our opinion is of it.
well, I think you can make a recommendation that you're dissatisfied with the current plan as it's presented.
Right.
And yeah, by all means, I think you can do that. And the board and the planning commission can then take that
Like, yeah, I
recommendation.
mean, that way we're not denying it, saying
Right.
no, but we're like just
Right.
putting it forward to them that they know they have to have a better plan
Right.
towards of what's going on.
What do you think, Tom?
Well, I think I agree. I think we need to know where the extra 105 trees are going. And dry.
Hmm.
We need an idea,
So either that, or they
or they come
don't
fast.
take down so many trees,
That's
so
an
they
option.
won't have to replace as many.
That's an option.
And yeah, I think it's incomplete because clearly they haven't, according to their plan, they haven't said where the other trees are going to go, or if they're gonna provide an in lieu fee, or if they were gonna do some sort of understory or something else. And so so it's incomplete, right?
It's open-ended.
Right.
We need clarity.
So we can't approve this right now based on the fact that they don't have
We
the
can't
right.
prove it, but we
right.
might have to take an action.
Well, so the action I think would be, personally, I would rather have an
Me too.
opportunity to talk with John. He's not here tonight to kind of explain what conversations he's had with the developer. And I'm not super comfortable moving forward without kind of talking with him a little more.
You know what the
I
time
would not expect. to
Okay,
see, I really don't expect.
okay,
Um,
I mean, we can't table it,
we have
obviously.
Review letters that have. That was based upon fire marshal, the township engineer's review.
okay,
So there are things that they still have to address regarding this plan from each of those districts. So you're certainly able to make the suggestion that they address John's letter,
mm-hmm,
provide more clarity, and come back.
okay.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
So go ahead and make a motion then.
I motion to table.
no, you can't.
You can't table.
No, you
Can
can't.
we,
table.
that table?
No, we're gonna.
Make a motion to send it back to the builder contractor
Developer.
to developer to have a better better site plan for those lots for where the additional trees are gonna go in lieu of taking down the trees to get to the numbers that are needed.
Provide better clarity.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
And
so-
as he's closer,
yeah,
requires them.
yes, so let's make a motion to request from the developer additional information to provide clarity on meeting the required compensatory replacement tree requirements. They're short, over 100 trees. So we need to better understand if they plan to provide an in lieu fee, conduct planning on site, or use other understory trees before we can take action. I'm good. Did you catch that?
Sounded like a heck of a lot of words. That must do it.
Okay. All right, does that sound about right, what you were trying to
Yes.
say? All
Yeah.
right. Do you want to second it?
Second.
All in favor?
Uh,
All right, all right. You'll pass. Okey dokey. All right, so we have additional future land development review for Garrett Williamson. We don't need to take action. This is more, I think, FYI, same thing with 3111 Sawmill and Aronimick. Ready? Does anybody have any questions on those? I don't either. I do have a question about. Remember, we had that one application that came in last month for the violation, I guess. Did we get anything on that?
Not as of yet. I have reached out, but I haven't received anything.
Okay, all right. All righty. All right, then, moving on to approve permits. Discussion and approval of the Brookside Park permit. I think it looks in order. You guys have any questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
Any discussion?
Nope.
Someone want to make a motion to approve the permit application?
A motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second you, Tom, Rob will second. And, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And,
Aye,
okay.
aye.
Okay, motion passes. Keep forgetting that John's. All right, okay,
It's the music, too.
all right. All right,
What happened to these other guys? Oh, never mind.
no, we've already, there was no action on those.
Mm,
Okay. All right, so we ready to move on?
Sure.
All right, so 11.1, discussion and possible approval of Arbor Day event. Okay, so I did my homework, and I reached out to the EAC and Greenways and Trails as well as George. And, we're all set, for April 29th. The Greenways and Trails, committee does not have any events, and us planting trees along Goshen Road will is fine with them. They but what we plan to do is to go out with George and maybe some of the folks from EAC as well as Greenways and Trails to select how many trees and where we would like to put them. So if you all are amenable to holding our Arbor Day event on Goshen Road, doing the tree planting, and then we could do like a demonstration for folks on how to properly plant and care for new trees. That would certainly fulfill our requirements for Arbor Day, and it would help us to maintain our Tree City certification. And George ordered a bunch of trees like right under the deadline. Thank you very much. From PHS. And so I think we're good. I don't know, did you want to say anything, George?
Sure. So we have those 12 trees coming in from PHS. And again, the ones from Pennsylvania Horticultural Society are they're 8 to 10 feet tall bare root trees. We tried to pick ones that would work in the area. Now, we also have all the trees that are in the tree nursery.
Right.
Whereas I probably would not recommend the large bare root trees from the tree nursery that late in the season.
Yeah.
But the smaller ones and some of the ones that are in, 1 or 2 gallon buckets or something could probably be transplanted over there. So
Okay.
I think we do have a nice wide selection. And if after the representatives have walked and some particular ideas are looked at and maybe some specific species are wanted, we may be able to obtain those and
Okay.
bolster what we have available.
Okay, all right.
Question, George, do you know, do you have any timetable as to when you would like to, do you want any of us along when you go through to pick out where to put these trees?
Well, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have some of us along with EAC and Greenways and Trails.
Yes.
All right.
On the 29th.
No. So we're gonna do that. The Arbor Day, sorry, I wasn't clear. Arbor Day is slated to do this planting is April 29th.
Okay.
So Arbor Day is the 28th. So we're gonna do it, and that's a Friday. So we're gonna do the planting on the 29th. We're gonna do the site visit sometime between now and that date to get a better game plan of where we will, how many, what species, and where we would like to plant them, because we just I want to make sure that we're coordinated with Greenways and Trails in case because they were planning to do some native plantings, and we didn't want to interfere with what they had going on. So this way we're all on the same page. And then plus EAC is going to help us and provide volunteers as well to help us out on that day
Okay.
as well. Is you guys available
Wait, what?
the 29th?
Oh, April?
April?
Yeah.
Huh?
I got a wedding.
Do you?
You're
Okay.
already married.
Who you get married to? Somebody else's. Oh, all right. All right.
I'm about.
You're available? Okay.
Yep.
He's got a commitment. I'm available. You're available?
Um,
Awesome. All right.
We have a time?
And then TBD.
TBD.
Yeah, it'll probably be sometime in the morning, I would imagine. Probably no earlier than 9, I would say 9 o'clock or 8:30. I don't know. When do they usually do them, George?
I mean, we could do them anytime.
Right,
You know, there's nothing wrong with a 9 o'clock start.
okay. All right.
Where are we meeting?
Yeah, I'll send out more information once so the purpose of this, I just wanted to report out on who I coordinated with, and we actually had a date. EAC's calendar is pretty packed with things, so this worked out well with this availability. So really, the purpose of tonight was just to report out, say we selected a day, let you guys know I coordinated with the appropriate other committees, and then what we can do is I'm seeking a motion to accept the Arbor Day celebration to be approved for April 29th. And further coordination is required, and I don't think we have to put that in the in the motion, but basically just, yeah, you guys are good with April 29th. Somebody wants to make that motion.
Motion.
Okay. All right, so,
Filing it now.
all right, so we have a motion to approve the Arbor Day event to be celebrated on April 29th. And we will have follow-up coordination meetings with the EAC, George, and Greenways and Trails for plant selection and location. And that date will be to be determined.
Second.
All right, all in favor? John, forgot about you.
Still waiting.
All right. All right, great. Okay, moving on. 11.2. Discussion regarding dates to complete tree inventory as well as status update on what progress has been made. All right, and so that was
Me.
you.
I had the computer in my house for like 2 days. And everything I touched, I went further and further out of the program and not having passwords to get in. So it's now back at the Township building.
Okay,
So that was the progress.
okay, all right. Well, did we,
Just, I mean, I gotta get with John or somebody or.
right,
Yeah, so if I can weigh in too. So we had done a bit of tree inventory work on the township side. The person that was with us last year, who's going to come back and work with us again a day a week this year, maybe Dave Hilbert, the person who coordinated side planning. So he did about 200 trees worth of inventorying last year, which included primarily new plantings that he had overseen or been involved with. So they were easy to do. I had every intention of having that printout for you to just share with you when that information was tried to be taken out and downloaded. There was a computer problem, so it is
Okay.
still in the iPad right now, and I wasn't
Okay.
able to present it to you. So
That's all
it
right.
should be there. We tried to reach out to John Hoshback, but he
Mhm.
was not available until
Okay.
next week to talk to.
yeah, no worries. All right, well, that sounds good.
What did I do?
Thanks, John.
I hear John Rice.
Hi, John. Are you trying to say something?
John, she just said you're trying to say something.
That's his wife.
Yeah, I couldn't, I was having trouble with my audio, but I've been here for a while.
All right, great. Great, thanks, John. Glad you're on. Okay, so did we want to try to schedule, like maybe set aside a specific day, like, or 2 days a month that we would try to go out and do inventories?
I just did
I
that.
mean, probably Saturdays are better for me. Like Saturday mornings. Besides, unless something really comes up. I mean, it's getting lighter now. Daylight savings kicks in.
Mhm.
We've got a few hours.
Right,
Even if we did it like Just stuff around here.
Yeah, we just
We
gotta
could
get
do
our
it, you know what I
feet
mean?
Right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
just so we get it.
Do a Saturday morning. Get a few in and
Yeah.
build from there.
Right,
So I gotta learn how to get into.
yeah. And I mean, and we can use the Arbor Day planting too. We can enter in those that we just planted as well. Right. When did you want to start?
I think we need to have another session
We need a training session.
Oh,
with John
absolutely.
Hosback. Mostly because we've had 2 sessions that were attended by various subsets of our group, but we have not gotten to touch an iPad yet. So, you know, it's one thing for someone to tell us what to do, it's another thing to actually do it.
You can get into it, George, right? You know, have like.
Steve Bradley's actually the expert with it. I was there for the first session. And I've seen some of it. I would say, you know, fortunately, Dave Hilbert, who's just going to be doing a little bit of time with us in Public Works, he's gotten used to it and has done it a bit. He was originally asking if he should come tonight and speak with you. I said, probably tonight's not the night, but next month would be good, because I know you had also expressed an interest as a group to go see the Township Tree Nursery. It's probably one of those things we thought tonight still, it would be dark by the time you would get up there. But by next month, maybe it would be doable.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then, I mean, if he's versed in it, and if John isn't available, I guess, could he do the training?
I think that he could, because again, he's done it, but John ideally will be the first one
Okay,
to do it, but John trained him on it and he's the
Right.
one that went and was doing it.
okay.
So yeah,
Great, I like
between the two of them, I
Okay.
think whatever date you pick, we should be able to make work.
Okay, so for Saturdays. Do you want to start next month, or did you want to start? Or did you want to try to get a meeting set up, another training
Yeah,
with John?
when John gets.
Do you wanna
back,
do that?
so
Okay,
I'll-
okay. So we're gonna, so you have a task.
Yeah.
Coordinate with John, see when he's available to do a training, and then we'll set up do a training, and then maybe we can shoot for March to start.
Right.
Doing inventories, something like that, or.
Call me when you're doing, try.
What's that?
Call me when you're gonna meet him. I'll try. to pick
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so I think we have a game plan. Right. Okay. Oh, I guess I should have waited for old business. All right, so it doesn't look like we have anything under old business. Do we have any commission comments? All right. How about items for the next agenda? Guess will be another, well, let's keep the Arbor Day on there. Let's keep the tree inventory updates. So we'll do Arbor Day event update. And then your update on tree inventory. And what else?
Weren't we-
So, yep.
What-
Yeah, whatever the land development is coming before us. I think that's pretty standard. So we'll have that and whatever permits. They're standing agenda items, I think, and
Report.
yes. Can we, Mhm. Right, okay. Sounds good.
Oh, yes. The ordinance update.
Yes. So if we could possibly get an update from the solicitor on the status of the revision to the ordinance, that would be wonderful. And I guess I think I saw something, an email about the article in the. Did Steve Bradley send that out, I think? Okay, so Steve sent out a request for the newsletter, and all the committees are asked to provide an article for the newsletter. And so sorry, I forgot who was,
I'm the newsletter person.
you're the newsletter person, okay,
Yes.
okay.
And apparently I have to have something in 2 months before the newsletter comes out.
Yes, so I think it's the due date's March 8th, if I remember what the email said.
All right, I will check with Steve Bradley on it.
Okay,
John.
John was gonna kind of work on social media content.
Yeah, but he's muted again.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Read again.
We might have to rethink. Who's good with Facebook?
Well, not me.
Not me.
I'm not even on.
I'm not even on.
Yeah, I'm there, but you don't see me.
Facebook
It's
queen
either you
over
or
there.
me, sweetie. I'm sorry.
I have no.
Did you want to kind of help out with that? Would you have time? Is that something you're interested in? It's
Sure.
finding content. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah, it's going around and getting a picture and. Yeah, we can do this.
Okay,
We'll work
all
on
right,
it. I have an idea about that too.
okay, all right, so. All right, so let's voluntold ourselves that we're gonna work on the social media.
Okay,
Right, we'll team up and do that, and if John wants to provide input and content, that would be great too. Okay,
All right.
all right. Nobody from the public?
No, nobody from our during public out there?
All right then, all right, so,
before we go in, who does Earth Day stuff? Do we do any Earth Day stuff or do we just do Arbor Day? George is frowning at me.
Yeah, in the past, there has not been any Earth Day event. It's
Okay.
been the Arbor Day events.
Okay, just checking.
George, you have time to look at trees?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you have time?
right.
It's still-
all right, so, all right, well, hold on, let me make a motion to,
Well, I don't know if we have to adjourn. Can we all walk up there and talk about trees? Or do we- is that-
we're not discussing business, we're just talking trees.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't get in trouble.
Okay.
with Steve.
All right, so I make a motion to adjourn at 5:42 PM. Thank you.
Right.
She doesn't show.